with the Trabant across the Pacific, from Alice Springs to Darwin. In Alice Springs, Radek and I managed to make an overhaul of the Jawa in 2 days. Although it was not clean work and most veterans would have fractured their hands, the Jawa now growls and we can go further on the path to the warm north and Darwin. There is an asphalt road as straight as an airport runway, so no wonder that there is a stretch of unlimited speed, which I tried to take advantage of on a motorcycle and push the limits of 90 kilometers an hour. After crossing the Tropic of Capricorn, which is, by the way, mine, Dan's, and Zdenko's sign, Australia begins to change. Not only the climate, but also the country. After 2 months, we can sleep without a tent and sleeping bag, and we are not cold at all. All the while, 500 kilometers below us in Alice Springs, the night was 15 to 20 degrees cooler or even freezing. We're not going directly to Darwin, but on a little detour. After the city Tennant Creek, we turn east on Route 66 to Camel Wheel, from where we again go north along the northern coast of Savannah Way, which was recommended to us by many people. We were sleeping somewhere on Route 66 when such a strong downpour came in the night that our cameraman Zdenko's tent turned into a waterbed. From the bed where he slept, a river was created. The country really changes here, and mainly greenery is increasing, which after such a long time in semi-deserts, it's a nice change. Wheelchair user Jacob cannot cope with the last kilometers of asphalt, especially such hot air, so he is taking the trip on the roof of the Trabant. I do not know what the fine would be for riding on the roof, but without a seatbelt, you can probably prepare 500 Australian dollars. I think that nothing compares to a good adrenaline rush, and everybody who is sitting in the car must envy Jacob. After 1,000 kilometers of asphalt, we come to unpaved roads, which remind me of Argentina, south of Buenos Aires, where there are the same endless meadows full of cows that are scared of the Jawa and run through the beautiful country. Some time ago, I noticed that many animals are afraid of two-stroked motorcycles. In Kazakhstan, 100 trucks could go near camels and they wouldn't even move, but when they see the pioneers, they jump and run like the wind. It's interesting. Anyway, this day was for me one of the best. In the evening, near the Gregory Roadhouse, we found a beautiful azure, clear body of water where we swam until midnight. I love these natural lakes and rivers, and so I kind of made up for this summer when I'm not at home and can't be around the lakes of Banska Štiavnica. The signposts around the lake have written on them, "Crocodile safety, danger," but we only noticed them the next day. Later, of course, we asked local people about crocodiles and they said it was really not safe there. Anyway, it's amazing here and very different than the rest of Australia that we had gotten the opportunity to get to know. We go through the woods along unpaved roads with endless shade, and every 50 kilometers we go through fords. It is interesting that they did not build any bridges, but everywhere you can see a meter to let you know how deep the ford is. Fortunately, all of them are passable, and I think that the deepest one was about 50 centimeters. It's all great and beautiful here, like a fairy tale, and probably it would be strange if nothing went wrong. So again, the Trabant ego decided to disrupt this beautiful travel time. The part which holds the back arms on the body formed a huge crack, and we are worried that it would break completely. We need a welder quickly. The nearest town is over 100 kilometers away. We lightened the Trabant as much as possible. The heaviest member of the expedition, the photographer Vojto, got into the Malak, and I took Radek on the bike. The yellow convoy is dragging along at 20 kilometers an hour, and I'm going with Radek on a motorcycle like rally riders on full throttle into the city to find a workshop. If I was in Radek's place, I would collapse on the back of the motorcycle, but that guy really does not have a sense of self-preservation. We found a perfect workshop, and I think it is the best that we could find in the Aboriginal town of Borroloola. So we waste no time, and immediately after arrival we start fixing the Trabant. Jacob found out by looking in his diary that the Trabant ego breaks down exactly every 11 days. In the next 11 days, the car will be somewhere in a container on a ship headed to East Timor, and I just hope the boat does not sink. Australians never want anything for renting the workshop, so we always show our appreciation at least with beer if it is possible and we can buy it. In the Aboriginal towns, it is a bigger problem because they do not have alcohol at all, or they have it, but they sell you only a certain amount and write down your data from a passport or other kind of ID. Marcin bought beer with his driving license, which is from Poland, and when the store clerk wrote down his name and surname, they mistakenly wrote Mr. Permission to Drive. By the way, I found out that people do not need their own motorcycle to travel through Australia, and you don't need much money either. A month ago, we found one Suzuki V-Strom 750, and now a 6-cylinder petrol car, very easily on the way with a key in the ignition, which normally worked. The Roadhouse also gave us food and drinks with an expiring warranty for free that otherwise would have been discarded. So the fact is that you can travel here for little money. You just have to be able to fill up your car. The last kilometers before Darwin take us through the national parks called Litchfield and Kakadu, where finally, for the first time in my life, I see live crocodiles that are up to 6 meters. Fortunately, none of them ate us, but on the contrary, we had the chance to taste a crocodile burger. The taste reminded me of a mixture of chicken and fish. We arrived in Darwin at the last minute, and we had the last day to be able to load our cars into the container. Everything went off without a hitch, and we are wandering through beautiful quiet Darwin and waiting for our flight to East Timor, where a new adventure will begin again.